Viral footage claims to show U.S. Patriot air defense systems failing as Iranian ballistic missiles slam into American air bases. Iran says its latest missile barrage exposed serious weaknesses in U.S. air defenses, while fresh strikes continue targeting American military positions across the region. Tehran claims its expanding drone campaign is overwhelming Patriot missile batteries, raising fresh questions over Washington's ability to defend its regional bases. As Iran continues launching wave after wave of missiles and drones, the United States is facing mounting pressure to contain an increasingly dangerous regional conflict. Viral footage circulating online claims to show Iranian ballistic missiles striking a U.S. airbase in Jordan during the latest phase of the conflict. The videos appear to show multiple missiles evading or overwhelming U.S. Patriot air defense interceptors before reaching their targets. The clips have been widely shared across social media, though their exact location has not been independently verified. Military analysts believe the footage may show Azraq Air Base or Prince Hassan Air Base rather than King Faisal Air Base. Iran has repeatedly targeted US-linked military facilities in Jordan as fighting between Washington and Tehran continues to escalate. Tehran insists its missile and drone campaign is aimed exclusively at American military forces and not the Jordanian people. Iranian state media describe the attacks as part of a sustained retaliatory military operation against US forces in the region. The latest strikes come amid successive waves of Iranian missile and drone operations across multiple locations in the Middle East. Another viral video claims to show a Shahed drone striking a US military facility inside Kuwait. The footage allegedly captures a large explosion after the drone appears to breach US air defenses. So far, neither US nor Jordanian officials have officially confirmed the authenticity of the viral strike videos. The missile campaign continues to intensify as the United States and Iran exchange fresh rounds of military strikes across the Gulf. Mujtaba continues punishing a U.S. Arab ally for hosting American forces, a direct attack on partners supporting Trump-era deployments. Drones linked to Mujtaba struck hangars at Jordan's Azraq Air Base, reportedly housing F-15s, F-16s and F-35s. Iran says Operation Nosser 2 is now in full effect, unveiling its new Shahed attack drone as part of the campaign. Iran says it has launched a new wave of drone strikes targeting the U.S. Azraq Air Base in Jordan. According to Tehran, the attack was aimed at positions housing U.S. fighter jets inside the base. Iran also claims the drone operation targeted accommodation facilities used by American troops. The Iranian military further alleges that a major U.S. equipment hangar was struck during the latest raid. Tehran says the Azraq operation forms part of its continuing campaign against U.S. military bases across the region. Iran adds that this latest assault follows 6 earlier waves of attacks on American targets. IRGC statement read, and I quote, "The hangars for American F-15, 16, and 35 fighter jets and a number of US MQ-9 strategic drones at the Azraq base in Jordan were destroyed. People of Jordan, as of this dawn, the wickedness of the child-killing US Army against our nation has been renewed. In response to the crimes of the Great Satan, the bulk of which are carried out using American bases on Jordanian soil, the fighters of the IRGC Aerospace Force, in a retaliatory attack on the American base in Azraq during the 6th wave of Operation Nosser 2 with the code Ya Allah, Ya Allah, Ya Allah, destroyed the hangars for F-15, 16, and 35 fighter jets and a number of US MQ-9 strategic drones at this base. The Holy Land of Jordan is the path of the prophets and is not a place for occupiers and international criminals. The Islamic Ummah expects you, the noble and zealous people who have witnessed the crimes of America and the Zionist regime against oppressed Palestine more than any other nation, to end the presence of the great Satan's army on your soil and not allow that Holy Land to be the origin of aggressive attacks on the territory of Islamic countries and bullying against the Palestinian nation. Do not miss any opportunity to destroy American institutions and expel the occupying American army from Jordan." Unquote. Iran has accused Washington of repeatedly violating the ceasefire through fresh military actions. The Iranian military says it will retaliate against any attack on its land, territorial waters, or airspace. Fresh explosions were reported across at least 7 locations in Iran as the conflict escalated. U.S. Central Command announced a new round of strikes targeting Iran's military capabilities. Washington says the latest strikes are intended to stop attacks on commercial shipping in the Strait of Hormuz. The latest CENTCOM statement says U.S. operations will continue to target threats to regional maritime security. U.S. Central Command statement read, and I quote, "U.S. Central Command, CENTCOM, completed an additional round of strikes against Iran at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, July 14th, hitting dozens of military targets near the Strait of Hormuz and Iranian coastal areas. U.S. fighter aircraft, drones, and naval vessels launched precision munitions against Iranian missile and drone sites, naval capabilities, and coastal defense systems during the 7-hour wave to further degrade Iran's ability to threaten commercial shipping and civilian crews. The strikes took place the same day U.S. forces resumed the naval blockade against vessels transiting to or from Iranian ports and coastal areas. The blockade went into effect at 4 p.m. Eastern Time today. U.S. forces remain vigilant, lethal, and prepared to execute operations directed by the commander-in-chief. The U.S.-Iran conflict continues despite a Pakistan-mediated peace memorandum of understanding. Tensions around the Strait of Hormuz remain high as both sides continue exchanging fresh attacks. Satellite images released by Iranian media show before and after views of locations allegedly hit during Iran's retaliatory attacks. According to Press TV, the imagery focuses on military facilities located in Bahrain, Kuwait, and Qatar. Military analysts say the images appear to indicate damage at multiple facilities associated with U.S. military operations. Earlier satellite assessments had already pointed to damage involving aircraft hangars, radar systems, and other military infrastructure. The latest imagery has reignited debate over the true extent of damage suffered by U.S. forces during the conflict. Analysts caution that while some of the images have been verified, others have been identified as AI-generated or misleading. As the exchange of strikes continues, the satellite evidence is expected to intensify global scrutiny of the ongoing U.S.-Iran conflict. The United States has launched a third consecutive night of military strikes against Iran, signaling a major escalation in the conflict. President Donald Trump has ordered a fresh wave of attacks as U.S. Central Command vows to keep increasing pressure on Iranian forces. U.S. Central Command said, and I quote, "At 4:45 p.m. ET today, U.S. Central Command began launching the third consecutive night of strikes against Iran, at the Commander-in-Chief's direction. These strikes will continue imposing a heavy cost on Iranian forces and degrade their ability to attack innocent civilians and commercial shipping in the Strait of Hormuz." Unquote. According to CENTCOM, the operation will continue until Iran's military capabilities are significantly degraded. The latest strikes are also aimed at protecting international shipping through the Strait of Hormuz. Fresh explosions have been reported across Bandar Abbas as the latest round of U.S. strikes hit southern Iran. Iranian media also reported multiple blasts on Kish Island, suggesting the conflict is spreading to more strategic locations. Iran has responded by launching cruise missiles at a U.S. vessel operating in the Gulf, according to reports. Tehran also claimed that its drone strikes targeted American military facilities inside Kuwait. Iranian officials further claimed that several U.S. bases in Kuwait were successfully hit during the retaliatory operation. Air raid sirens were reportedly heard in Bahrain amid unconfirmed reports of activity near the U.S. Fifth Fleet. Security concerns are also growing in the United Arab Emirates as the conflict expands across the Gulf. The U.S. Embassy in Abu Dhabi and the U.S. Consulate in Dubai have cancelled public appointments because of escalating regional threats. The Trump administration has formally notified Congress that U.S. hostilities against Iran have resumed. The White House insists President Trump has the constitutional authority to continue military operations against Iran. The renewed campaign has now triggered a fresh political clash between Congress and the White House over presidential war powers. President Trump says the latest strikes were defensive actions carried out to protect vital American interests. Washington has warned Tehran that it will continue paying a heavy price for targeting commercial shipping. The Strait of Hormuz has once again emerged as the central battlefield in the growing U.S.-Iran confrontation. With missiles, drones, naval attacks and airstrikes intensifying, the Gulf region appears to be moving closer to a much wider war.
And we're hitting them very hard, and it'll continue, and we'll see what happens, but we're knocking out all of their offensive capability, and we're controlling the straits, we're putting the blockade back, And it's a blockade not for anybody but Iran. In other words, anybody doing business with Iran can't go through. Everyone else will be able to go through. So it's a blockade. It's a very strong blockade. The blockade was probably more effective even than hitting them, but I think the combination is the thing that really does it.